Thank you, Professor Shion Oyeweso. We cannot thank you enough. You've honored the Alaafin on several occasions. People may not remember that when you receive the Distinguished Fellowship of the Nigerian Academy of Letters, you are the very first to invite Alaafin to the event, which was very successful. Thank you. And you also did a major conference choosing Oyo as its venue to celebrate Kabiyesi's 88th birthday. We cannot thank you enough. My royal fathers, my fathers, our brothers, distinguished professors from different parts of the world, I've also recognized the families who are qualified to succeed Kabiyesi. I noticed one of them who is here, and the Archbishop, distinguished friend, a lawyer friend of Ikuba Bayeye, who has joined us. We celebrate you, sir. Some of the Kabiyesi who are here, they've supported this center in various ways. I've seen two of them who had joined us in previous activities. We thank you for your leadership, and we encourage you to support this center in promoting Yoruba history and Yoruba culture. I know in the case of Kabiyesi of Okela, who is trying to organize a conference on his town, I plead that all the Kabiyesi who are here should set up in the palace oral collection centers to document history, to collect data, to preserve the data for all of us to use. With permission, I want to start with a conclusion. And that conclusion is, what should be the takeaway from this gathering? I know that we are celebrating the life, we are paying tributes, but what should be the takeaway so that at the end of this event, we are able to say these are the enduring legacies associated with this conference? May I suggest the following takeaway? Number one, the suggestion that I made in 2018 about the teaching of what I call the Alaafinology in Nigerian universities is about kingship. And I made the argument that what the study of history does, the same thing the study of kingship can do. The humanities is about critical thinking. What we call British history, American history, we have the equivalences that we have not developed. We did not, if we have developed the study of Ifa, by now we should be awarding a degree in it up to the PhD level. It's a body of knowledge bigger than what Shakespeare accumulated. It's a body of knowledge as a test, as big as only other holy tests, Hindu test, Buddhist test, in which we can organize degrees in divinities, degree in religious studies around it, and creating a BA in Ifa, as well as a BA in kingship. That will be one takeaway. The third takeaway is the creation of a museum, a big Yoruba museum. I don't know whether Professor Alao is here. He and some others, including myself, we recommended to Alaafin Adeyemi to establish a museum in Oyo. And he agreed to do that. And he began to say that, can he not focus on a women's museum? There is a wake-up call that we should establish a museum. And with all the KBS who are here, we should also convert wings of palaces to museums so that people will come, people from the city, people from other parts of Yoruba land, people from different parts of the world. When they come, they will be able to visit this museum. Without establishing these museums, we are diminishing the opportunities open to us. We are not reproducing history. We are not tapping into the significance of objects. Is it a difficult thing to do? It is not. It is just to have the consciousness that a segment of a palace can be devoted to becoming a museum. And if it's successful, we even begin to collect entry fees to run the place. And finally, what I'm trying to suggest by way of conclusion is to say that the system of producing the next Alaafin should not be corrupted. You and I as scholars, when they do anything that we think is not right, we should immediately shout and say that the process is being discredited, and we should not allow the process to be debased. Welcome, KBC. Welcome. Thanks for honoring us at this event. I will come back again, but after making those takeaway, so that at least I will also plead that speakers should not only pay tributes, but they should also give us takeaway so that we're able to accumulate a communique in which this gathering will produce a substantial document. I'm taking a pause so that they can greet the guest. Thank you, Baba. So please, as I call on you, just do not pay tribute. Tell us what the takeaway should be. The first speaker I would like to call upon is my very good friend, the immediate past dean of the University of Ibadan, Professor Adeyemi Raji Oyelade. He doubles as a scholar, as a poet, and is also the Magaji in Ibadan. And God will grant him long life so that the Magaji Ajiboro, Lojaba, will rise in the hierarchy. He's organizing a big conference in November on Proverbs and Post-Proverbia. He's not just a chief, he's an activist, a poet, and a chief. Professor Raji Oyelade, please, 7 minutes for you. 7 minutes, because we have